Let's examine our efficient but error-prone brain. Brain is extremely complex and it has about 100 billion neurons. It consumes about 20% of the calories while it's working. And what is the work of a brain? To think before doing something. Thus, to save the energy, like humans, brain is also using the shortcuts. Yes, and thus these shortcuts are known as heuristics. Heuristics are the mental shortcuts. Usually, two systems are used by the human brain while working. The system first is fast, automatic, emotional, gut instinct reactions. It means without thinking much. It instantly take the decision means it immediately take the decisions without thinking more. In system second, it is slow, logical, deliberate, calculating and planning. It means the brain is thinking before doing something. But most of the time in daily life, the people are using the system first. So, it leads to the systematic errors in our transactions. Here are some examples of the heuristics. The first one is recognition heuristic. It means that if you know about a product and you had heard its name multiple times, you may be thinking that it is good. For example, you choose a famous brand over an unknown one. Why? Because you are thinking that I have heard of it and it is much better than other. The second one is availability heuristic. Availability heuristic, for example, you think plane crashes are frequent because they are on the news, even though they are rare. Why? Because the bus accidents are thousands of cases within a day, but it's not the headlines of most of the newses. But if there is a plane crash, then every news channel started to reporting it. If it comes easily to the mind, it must be common. Our mind is thinking like that. The plane crash is coming frequently and frequently on the news, thus, the plane is a dangerous way of travel. The third one is representativeness heuristic. It means that you think someone wearing glasses is a professor, not a football player. You are thinking the things on the basis of their appearance, not their actual sense. The fourth one is anchoring heuristic. Anchoring heuristic is that our mind is struck to the first information. For example, you see a dress which price was 5,000, then it is discounted to 2,500. You think it's good deal, even it's still the expensive. It may be much cheaper than 2,500 too. So, the first one, the 5,000, build an anchor in our mind. The last one is gaze heuristic. Gaze heuristic is used by the players catching the ball. They don't calculate the physics, they just follow the ball's angle. They just keep an eye on the ball and catch it. So, the next is prospect theory. It's given by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. It explains how people make decisions under risk and uncertainty. The first one is people evaluate outcomes related to a reference point. For example, you are expecting 10,000 as a reward from a lottery, but you get only 5,000. Then you may be not thinking that you won the 5,000, but instead you may be struck to the 5,000 you lost. It means that you may be thinking that you have a loss of 5,000 while you are ignoring the gain of the 5,000. The second one is diminishing marginal utility. It means that if you gain 10,000 and it gives you a higher amount of utility, but if the same amount you will get again, then it will not give the same level of satisfaction which the first times you get by winning the 10,000. The third one is loss aversion. Losses feel about 2.5 times worse than equivalent gain. For example, you lost 10,000 and it feels 2.5 times more pain than gaining 10,000. Application of the prospect theory in our daily life. The first concept is loss aversion. Loss aversion means people hate losses more than liking gains. Firms shrink product size instead of raising the price because they are thinking that if they will raise the price, the buyers may not be able to pay, and instead of that product, they may buy another product from the other sellers. The second one is framing effect. The framing effect is that how we are presenting the things. 80% lean meat versus 20% fat meat. It is both the same. 80% lean meat versus 20% fat meat. Both the statements are the same, but it impacts different on the different individuals. Those who want the lean meat, they will think that it contains 80% lean meat, but instead of that, if they look to the 20% fat, they will not buy that. Next is anchoring. Anchoring is the same as we discussed in the previous example, that if the initial price was 5,000, then it's changed to 2,500. Even it's not the correct price of that product, still we are able and we want to pay that price by our happiness. Even the product was much cheaper than that price too. Next is endowment effect. What is endowment effect? For example, sell mug for rupees 15 but buy it for rupees 10 only. Why? Because we are thinking that the things which are owned by us are more valuable, like the phone which have our personal mobile phone, we are valuing it much because we have some emotional attachment with it. We are not able to sell it on a cheaper rate, but even though we had purchased it at a cheaper rate, but still we are thinking that it is of higher rate. Next is status quo bias. It means that prefer default option. For example, organ donation rates higher where default equals to donor. Default usually means keeping the thing as they are already in their actual position. So, most of the people will choose the option of the default. But if the default means donor, then the most of the population will be converted into the donor unknowingly because they prefer to be default. This is what we can call the status quo bias. People want to live in their actual position rather than change. The next one is myopia and the time inconsistency. What is myopia? Myopia means short-sightedness, means people prefers the short-term benefit over the long-term. We want always the immediate rewards than the long-term benefits. For example, you prefer to eat donuts today and forget the long-term fitness. In economics, we can take the example of the saving. We can save our money in the bank and we will get the interest in the future. But instead of saving, we spend it on shopping today because it feels more beneficial for us. And in the case of time inconsistency, if we plan to wake up at 6 a.m. but we still press the snooze. Why? Because we want the comfort at that time. You can take the example of the exercise. If you plan to the exercise tomorrow, but when the tomorrow comes, you skip it for the next day. It means humans are the myopia in their behavior and they have the time inconsistency too. These two things can impact on our daily basis works. Fairness and self-interest. As per Adam Smith's, there are two different views. Wealth of the nation. In the Wealth of Nation, he talks about the self-interest. He says that humans always care about their own self-interest, but in his earlier book which he published in 1759, he talked about the moral sentiments. Humans also have empathy and fairness, but the behavioral economics consider the both concepts. So let's understand the both of the concept with two examples. The games on the fairness. The first one is dictator game. Let's suppose there are two individuals, individual A and individual B. Individual A has 100 rupees while B has none. The A has two options. He can give to the B, otherwise he cannot give to the B. It's his own choice, and here A is the dictator. He can decide whatever he wants. But still, he will keep with him 60 rupees and give 40 rupees to the B. Why? Because his decision is based on the altruism. He also wants to help B without expecting any rewards. This is based on the moral sentiments. While the other one is ultimatum game. Here, suppose A has chances to get the 100 and A has to divide this money for the B2, means both of them have to share this. But instead of giving to B, he want to completely keep the 100 rupees by his own self. Now, if he reject to give the B, then he will lose the entire money. But still, what he will do? He will not give to the B. Instead, he just want to keep by himself. As a result, both of them losses. Here, this is about the self-interest. Here, we did not consider the moral sentiments. So, the conclusion is the behavioral economics consider both dictator game as well as ultimatum game. Dictator game is based on the concept that to get something is better than from getting nothing, while ultimatum game one individual want to grasp everything, while if both of them did not share equally or A did not give anything to the B, then both of them lost. What do you think what happens in the actual life? Do people value fairness over the money? Give the answer in the comment section. Let's go through few cognitive biases. Cognitive bias can be an irrational assumption or thinking mistake. So, the first one is confirmation bias. What is confirmation bias? Ignoring facts that contradict our view. The facts which are opposite to our own view, we usually ignore that. We only focus on those information that we already have. The second one is self-serving bias, means if we got the success, we are thinking that it's due to our own skill, but if we got the failure, we are thinking that it's due to our bad luck. I passed because I am smart, and we are thinking that I failed because exam was unfair. The third one is overconfidence effect. Being too sure of your opinions means if we know something that then we are too sure about our own knowledge. Ignoring evidence, taking risky decisions. Even though our knowledge is incomplete, still we are ignoring the evidence which proved our knowledge to be wrong. The next one is hindsight bias. I knew it all along. After event, thinking you predicted it means after something happened, some people are saying that we already know that it was going to be happen, but in reality they don't have any idea about it. Next is availability heuristic. Availability heuristic means fearing shock attack more than car crashes. Why is it so? Because we can feel the shock's attacks. We can imagine its sharp teeth instead of imagining a car accident. Next is planning fallacy. Underestimating time needed means often we are saying that it took less time while it is demanding more time from us. Like, I can finish this project tonight. But while we are starting this project, we can imagine that and we can see that it takes us too much time and effort of ourselves. Next is framing effect. Decision changes by the context. This we already had discussed. It is written that 80% lean sounds better than 20% fat. 80% lean means fat free. It means that if it's 80% fat free, It's sure that it contains 20% fat, but still, we are considering only if it is written that it is 20% fat. Imagine a person who is on the diet, and when he goes to shop, he read out 80% lean. Then he bought it. But the same product, if it is written that it contains 20% fat, then he or she will not buy it. Why? Because they don't want to consume fat. But the meaning of the both statement is same. The both product contains 20% fat. So this was all about how our brain works, and this lecture consists of the basic introduction of the behavioral economics. Thank you.